Attention please. Coaches 3 and 4 are dedicated to ladies only.
The train ride was great. It was 34 minutes long, and it never picked up much speed because it's a commuter train that serves several stations. But boy, what a blessing it is, because I guarantee you that to come even the relatively short distance from the city center would have taken so much longer, battling traffic. And as it was just a smooth, air-conditioned glide. I can anticipate already that there are going to be quite a few people here today. This is a Saturday, so I wouldn't expect otherwise. The limestone caves we're about to visit are an impressive natural attraction, but of course that's not why all of these people are here. Until the 1880s, about the only people here were Chinese settlers who mined bat guano from the caves to nourish their vegetable patches. That all changed when a Tamil trader, that's Tamil as in the Sri Lankan Southern Indian ethnic group, recognized that the caves would make an ideal site for a Hindu shrine. And in the intervening years, this place has become a pilgrimage site for Hindus worldwide, and one of the more popular Hindu shrines outside of India and Sri Lanka. And of course that applies as well to Malaysia's Hindus, which constitute about 6% of this country's population. Now about that statue beaming down from the entrance, that's Murugan, the Hindu god of war and independence, whose countenance you see all over Sri Lanka and southern India. He's about 43 meters tall, or that's 140 feet or so, and the second largest Murugan statue in the world. It is, of course, in his honor that this shrine is dedicated. Each year here, he's the center of attention during an enormous festival in his honor that draws tons of pilgrims from across the Hindu world. This place has a kind of unique ambiance. I would say it's religious shrine meets amusement park, but it's subdued. People are respectful, as you can tell. They're taking selfies of each other all over the place, with the statue of Murugan in the background and these lovely steps leading up into the Batu Caves from this colorful plaza. There are shoes scattered, of course, all over the place in front of these shrines, and this plaza is filled with enough pigeons. As they take off, you feel like you're going to surely die of histoplasmosis, but hopefully not. And of course there are all sorts of monkeys around, just waiting to be continuously overfed here. Well, it's still relatively cool at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, despite the humidity. And I think before it gets too much warmer, it's time to climb those steps. This entire campus is filled with these monkeys. They're long-tailed macaques. They're all over the place, and they're greedy little creatures. People feed them. I don't see any signs saying not to, but I suppose that it would be a lost cause even if there were. But you see them down at the base. This is their natural habitat, these very green karsts, the low hills in which these caves exist. And it is a freeloading macaque paradise. There are 242 steps here. It's really not that big a deal for a fit and healthy person under ordinary circumstances. It's a little different because of the heat usually and the humidity always, which makes it kind of a slow climb. But this morning is particularly nice because it's still below 90 degrees and I'm in the shade coming up the steps, at least now that I've reached the halfway point. The hillside is shading the way. Well, I've made it to the top and I didn't even have to break a sweat because the sweat was already broken before I started up here. One of the first things you notice when you enter the caves is the drop in temperature. It's very cool in here, naturally not quite refrigerated, but certainly better than outside. There's all manner of things going on in here. People buying and selling alms. There are pigeons flying around. Some of them are walking around. There are at least 3 or 4 chickens that I've seen so far that children sort of are chasing to no avail. There's the occasional monkey. And of course there's just a lot of people admiring the statuary in this great hall, one of a couple of great halls, the other being behind me up another set of tall stairs. Just a very solemn yet festive place to be. Well, this second great chamber is open to the sky, as you can tell, with another temple within it, and with these stupendous rock formations. This place really needs little description. As you can see, it's like a cathedral, except that the craftsmanship is millions of years old instead of man-made. That's a common thread with religious shrines in Southeast Asia, especially whenever you have karst formations like with this natural limestone cave. I'm at a place where I don't have to worry about traffic because this, as you can tell, is a pedestrian way. In fact, it is one of Southeast Asia's great food streets, Jalan Alor, or Alor Road, a 3/4 of a mile stretch of excellent cuisine, mainly Chinese in orientation, but with a variety of other things as well, and a great atmosphere. When you come to Kuala Lumpur, you have to come here just for a sense of what this place is about. which is largely, and I'm referring to the city now, about food. People here love to eat, and indeed, this city is a foodie's paradise. I can think of no better way to while away the rest of a late afternoon and early evening than here on its most famous pedestrian way, full of good things to eat. This was once Kuala Lumpur's chief red light district back in the day. And of course it underwent a transformation and became sort of ground zero for street food here. And people responded to it remarkably. It's extremely popular for locals. And I say that because in some places like this are simply for tourists. That's not the case here. It is for tourists, but it was and is first and foremost a Kuala Lumpur thing. So the locals loved it, and visitors later discovered it, which is one of the reasons why I love this place, because it's authentic. Thai mango pulut.
Thai mango pulut, Malayu.
Looks delicious.
Thai mango sticky rice, English.
Nãy ta给他找太多了。
You see all kinds of stalls with seafood, meats, fruits, vegetables. There's hawker food being sold, especially at one end of this street, out of stalls. And then there are restaurants that are permanently fixed on the street. And of course, in the late afternoon and evening, those restaurants spill out into the street. It's almost as if, well, there's certainly more seating outdoors than there is in, and yet there's always food here on the street any time of day. But it's at nighttime when this place really comes alive. I shouldn't say this, but in full disclosure, my brain is baked. I've been going strong all day here in the high heat and humidity, and it has cooled down to probably about, the last time I looked just a few minutes ago, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And the humidity is, of course, always high. And so I'm staggering through the rest of this day. But I got to tell you, it's still very pleasant to be on this street. I don't intend to stay a long time tonight, but I did want to give you a glimpse of this marvelous pedestrian thoroughfare.
Welcome.